Hi guys, one man who seems to have a bit of a spring in his step is the General Secretary of the RMT union, Mick Lynch. Now it must be remembered that his organisation is not affiliated with the Labour Party, so there's no apparent political motivation for him to speak kindly of the new government, but that he did. Mick gave a few examples of things that have changed dramatically in the space of a few weeks. So could this be a new era for the railways and relations between trade unions and government?
Have you spoken to Sir Keir Starmer since he won the election?
No, I haven't seen him. I have seen him in the past, but he's a bit busy. I've spoken to the Secretary of State for Transport. It was a very good meeting.
That's Louise Haigh.
Louise Haigh, yeah, and she fully understands what's going on. She's very well briefed. We've also had the chance to speak to the Ministry of Defence because we've got sailors that work, seafarers that work direct for the MOD. We've got pay issues there. So it is a much better atmosphere. When you go in, you're not being scowled at and people releasing hostile press statements. It's actually, how do we get on with this job? We need to sort out some problems and a mess, frankly, that we've been left with. So it's talking to the executives and the chiefs of the railway, speaking to people like ourselves, but also involving the passengers about what they want from their railway. And it's a bit of democratisation of the railway going forward, I believe. The chief executive will be accountable to the minister, and the minister is accountable to Parliament and therefore the public. Whereas at the moment, as Christian mentioned this, they all hide behind these excuses and these Byzantine structures, train operating companies, open access operators, infrastructure providers, and all the rest of it. We will have Great British Railways, and they will be accountable for what they provide, where they do well and where they fall short. And that is a good thing for everybody.
It is a good thing for everyone. Now, just something I noticed as he was doing this interview, he's doing it from his home or from his home office or from an office. Normally, Mick would be interviewed on the street, on a picket line. So that's already a change that's taking place. Now, the key word here, of course, is accountability. And that's so important going forward, that these train companies, when they provide a service, if they succeed, that's great, but if they don't, they're held accountable, and there was very little accountability before. But also the change in tone. Government ministers have spoken to Mick and his team straight away within weeks of taking over. The Conservatives, when they were in power, would refuse to meet with Mick Lynch, or when they did, as he pointed out here, they would attack him, verbally or whatever, or they would write statements about him and issue them to the media. So there was bad blood. It was not a good way to negotiate. And of course, the Tories were against the idea of negotiating with trade unions because, well, for ideological reasons, they don't support the idea of trade unions. So, of course, they would either avoid talking to Mick Lynch, or if they had to speak to him, they would treat him with contempt. Now, challenges do lie ahead for the new government. The operators, their contracts are going to end, and when they do end, the government, the state will take over those contracts. So I imagine this is something that Mick is pretty happy about. The Tories' mess needs to be fixed. More investment in the railways, and perhaps some changes need to take place as well. Now, if Labour want to avoid strikes, they need to sit down with Mick Lynch, listen to his concerns, listen to the concerns of the trade unions, and try and come to a reasonable compromise or conclusion. But if they do succeed, then it will help them politically. And that's what Labour want at the end of the day as well. So they want to provide, of course, high quality railways. They want to provide good paying jobs, I believe, but also they want to avoid the issue of strikes because that would be embarrassing politically. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.